Hello to everybody joining. So I'm going to be streaming today, maybe for about an hour. Obviously I did a stream yesterday, so I'm not going to do one that's too long today. Normally I'd only just be streaming on Mondays and Thursdays, but recently, because I've had 2 Sundays booked off of work for rehearsals, it means obviously I've had a bit more time, sort of, you know, where I've not felt as exhausted at the end of the day, so I felt more like doing a stream. So hello to everybody that's you know, coming on. I don't think that will be the mic sounding fuzzy. I think what that will be is the rattling of the computer's radiator that's behind the microphone. Yeah, annoyingly I can't take that one down easily because the flail's also mounted on the same thing, so I have to take the flail down then take the sword down, otherwise I'd get it down and show it. No, it's not a loosening factor of the radiator, it didn't do it for years. I think it's just where one of the fins on the radiator just got slightly damaged. Baz said in a couple of months, a few months time, I'm planning on buying a totally new PC. The rattling on the radiator goes and comes away. It's actually like, you know, when you get air pockets in a radiator, like you can with household radiators, you can sometimes slap it and the sound goes away, but obviously if you slap it too hard you can damage the fins of the radiator, so I don't want to do that really. Alright Mike, yeah, I sent you a Twitter message as well, just in case it didn't send out a notification, but it says 30 people are watching, so I guess the notification went out. Said I'd try not to get into politics too much, but I obviously went into that just because I'm not really happy with, I don't know what the best way of summing it up is, but I guess like kids that don't really know about a lot of the history of the 20th century kind of ideologies kind of things, spouting out about how great lots of things the Soviet Union was. Like, I find lots of Warsaw Pact military technology really interesting, but the ideology behind it was horrible. You know, it's like how I have some Nazi German gear, but I don't worship Hitler or something like that. It's that same kind of thing. I think I know which ones you mean by the SGE series, but I don't have any of them. They're the ones that are meant to be like quite strong, aren't they? No, pepper spray is illegal in the UK. It's considered a Section 5 firearm, funnily enough. Easy way of telling a Lee Enfield apart from Mosin Nagant is the magazine. If you Google Mosin Nagant and look at the way the magazine looks on it, it does look different to the Lee Enfield's magazine. I think it's like the Mosin Nagant's mag looks more in line with the trigger guard, whereas the Lee Enfield magazine looks a bit bigger and it sticks out a bit further. But if you look at both the rifles on Google Images, you can actually see that the magazines are an easy way of telling them apart. Yeah, the Mosin Nagant and the SMLE are both bolt action. As I say, most bolt action rifles of World War II are pretty similar. The Enfield's quite interesting though, because it had a 10-round magazine on it, rather than just a 5 or 6 round magazine like some of the other bolt action rifles. And you know, it's a fast action bolt. I've already said about the firearm things loads of times, so I'm not going to keep repeating myself. I imagine if you look long enough you should find Avon masks for less than that, because they do manufacture masks in the US. Well, the thing was, the Garand was semi-automatic, it wasn't bolt action. That's why the Garand is a big step up, because it's essentially a battle rifle. I mean, the Garand could have been improved by having a removable magazine. You know, it could have had like a 20 round mag or something, 10 or 20 round mag that, or even 15 or whatever, that was removable from the bottom. Because the funny thing of the Lee Enfield is, I don't know how many of you know this, but I'll just quickly show you, is that the Enfield actually has a removable magazine. Don't know how you'll be able to hear me now. But soldiers weren't actually issued spare magazines for it, so you had to load it via clip anyway through the top of the rifle, but the magazines on the Enfield are designed so you can swap them out. You'll just have to look on eBay for XM28s. Ah, that sounds good. Richard, I couldn't remember if you'd said you were doing that or not. I know Mike said he was going to do when he modified. No, I've not heard of that, but neither of those are still in service, are they? Unless you by MPG you mean something like the FN mag. No, yeah, the M1 Garand and the M1 Carbine are totally different rifles. I'll see if I can get it down. Hang on, because it's not in a great position to get down and put back up easily. Can I get it? I've pulled the hook out the wall it was on, but let me just put that hook down. Yeah, that's an M1 Carbine. That's a lot smaller because it's basically designed as a rear echelon weapon, like a support weapon, not an actual frontline one. Obviously that had removable magazines as well, but you can see from that the caliber of it, it's not actually a full-on rifle caliber. It was an intermediate round. Right, it's an M1 Carbine. I don't know if it's technically an M1A1. I don't know if it says anywhere on it. I think it's probably just a standard M1, because I know some of them had like that top metal cover, and some of them had the folding stocks, didn't they? But this is just a standard M1 style one, the like retro one. There's a stamp on the wood that's quite hard to see, so I don't think the camera's going to show it up. Yeah, the Mini 14, those made by Ruger, the actual M14 was kind of like a Garand. They're not the same thing at all really, other than the fact the Mini 14 is kind of like the simplified M14 that's been downsized in caliber. Yeah, but it's a different 30 caliber. It's 30 cal as in 30 carbine, not 30 cal as in 30-06 like the Garand is. That's why I like, you know, using metric like 7.62x51 or 7.62x39, because then you know the actual size of the round, not just saying it's whatever. Oh, the grip on the M1 Carbine is very comfortable. The sight isn't awful either, because I've heard a lot of people say the sights on this are really bad, but they're not awful at all. Yeah, but it's a very lightweight rifle, because like I say, for a World War II gun, this is very light. But I said this was designed as a kind of lightweight support gun for rear echelon troops that didn't need a full-size rifle, or they couldn't carry a full-size rifle for their job. So the idea is it's much more practical than having a pistol. But obviously it's not got the range or power of a Garand, but it doesn't need it for what it was intended for. I think the M1 Garand sights are very similar to this, so they'd be fine. It's just where you've got a rear aperture on a Garand, like the M1, and then you've got, I don't know if you can see that on there. So, you know, like a ring and a post kind of thing. It's perfectly fine kind of iron sight. The Sten gun was quite good for what it was, being a super cheap gun. It wasn't exactly reliable, due to, you know, it's mostly down to bad magazines on the Sten. But the Sten was good for what it was. That was like a last-ditch, mass-produced gun. No, I don't have any 30-06. I don't have any live-firing rifles anyway, and I don't have a Garand or anything like that. My only World War II American gun I've got is this one. because the Lee Enfield's British, the SLR's British, the PPSH I've got is Russian, and the AK I've got is Yugoslavian. Yeah, that's a katana next to the SLR and the arming sword. Oh, supposedly, yeah, if you're on about the M1 Carbines mag, supposedly that was one of the things with it, that most of the failures to feed were actually down to the magazines on this. I know later on they had like the 30 round banana magazines, didn't they? That were, you know, look more like sort of AK mags. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much the full-on weight. I mean, with this one at least, you can do that. The actual bolt doesn't move. That's been welded shut, but the actual, you know, spring goes forwards and back. This was like 450 quid, I think. I paid quite a lot for it, but because I really wanted one, because it's one of my favourite guns from World War II. No, we don't have Martin Luther King Day in the UK. I think like they still teach about who like MLK is in schools and stuff, because I'm pretty sure we had it covered when we were at school, but obviously it's an American history thing, really. No, £450. Hello to new people just joining. No, I don't have any lever action rifles. Closest I have is this Lee Enfield with a bolt action. But I'm not going to get that down now to do the bolt action on it. There's one right there. Yeah, thanks, Richard. Yeah, you saw some inert ammunition when I opened the magazine on this. I've got most of the deactivated guns I've got inert ammunition for them, just so I can put something in the mags. Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, I know a while ago a lot of that stuff was, you know, sold quite cheaply, a lot of World War II kind of stuff. Favourite flags? I like the Confederate battle flag, the Army of Northern Virginia one. Obviously like the English flag, but that's because I'm English. I'm trying to think if there's any other historical flags that aren't used anymore that were good. Oh yeah, the safety actually works on this as well. See the trigger's locked now. If I put that back, trigger works. So yeah, the safety's not been deactivated on this, that still works. Shame if I pull the mag out, you can see, yeah, some of the insides of this, but obviously not much. It'll crush your hand if you put that in there and do that quickly. I don't think he's got one yet, but I've got, I don't know if I said in the stream yesterday, I've got a, like, dummy spearhead coming as well as a real spearhead, so I will at least be able to do spear versus sword sparring, because I will have two blunt objects in. Well, blunt, actual proper, like, training ones. Yeah, I don't, all the masks I've done videos on, I still have all of them. I've never got rid of any of the masks I've ever got. No, I don't have a 1911. I don't have any real deactivated pistols. I think you can... Is that the Don't Tread on Me flag? That one. Let me just Google it. Oh yeah, it is Don't Tread on Me. Yeah, I don't see why not, because I think it applies to all tyrannical governments, doesn't it? The PBF is actually my favourite of all the cheek filter masks in terms of like being built to a good standard. But you know, I still wouldn't recommend it because it's a cheek filter mask. Now, C96 was pretty interesting for when it was made, but obviously it was obsolete pretty quickly. I don't have any deactivated revolvers, so I can't shoot them. When I said I don't have any deactivated pistols, how can I then not have any, you know, deactivated revolvers? Revolvers are a type of pistol. Probably not. I don't recognise the name of it. Let me just search it just to double check. Oh, a Spetsnaz kind of like titanium helmet. No, I don't have one of those. Wait now to see if I get any interesting comments come in. No, it does not, FBI. At the moment I'm just getting lots of very repetitive questions that I get every stream, so I'm just waiting at the moment to see if anybody actually asks anything interesting. And there we go, another question that gets asked all the time. Yeah, and I wouldn't spend that sort of money on a helmet. If I'm ever out anywhere and there's a museum that I'd like to see, yes, but I don't specifically often drive like somewhere else for the intention of going to a museum. Right, swords. The katana that's there, the arming sword that's there, the sabre that's there, a rapier that's down there out of frame, you can't see, and a falchion that's down there out of frame, as well as a wooden training bokken. Just have a bit more coffee. Not really, I've not really looked into it too much, Richard. Until I actually start doing sparring, I won't be bothering to look up too much. Been on the London Eye, London Dungeon, yeah, Harrods, Madame Two Swords. I don't actually know if I've been to Madame Two Swords. What other ones have I been to in London? I've obviously been to more places than that in London, but I'm trying to think. Imperial War Museum I've been to. Natural History Museum. The British Museum. I've done videos on NBC suits, yeah, if you search for them you'd find them. I obviously don't own any flamethrowers, no. How would I own them in the UK? Let me look up what that is, because I don't actually know without looking it up. So is that like a little tent? If it was totally over you, and it's waterproof, it would protect you, but obviously if there's open bits where air could get in, then it won't. Yeah, let's not talk about anything illegal, please. Right, hello to you in Slovakia. Now, military rations, I've said I've got no interest in that sort of stuff, but I have actually did a video today on making homemade flapjack, which would be really good for ration packs, which has got like peanut butters type stuff in it. I've already had dinner. It was a Thai red curry today. I think it was just one from Tesco's. It was actually really tasty because it had that like sticky rice. It's an M1 carbine that's in my hand. Yeah, well, if people followed the rules in the description, that wouldn't happen, would it? But, as I said, I've warned people already now this stream. Is there big sales at Tesco's? I need to actually go and buy some more oats, though, now, because I've been making so many flapjacks now, I'm nearly running my oats out. But yeah, at Tesco's or Sainsbury's you can normally buy like a kilo of oats for £1, so it's not very much. Maybe eBay or surplus stores. I mean, they're harder to get because of the fact that obviously most nations haven't used wool for a while. Most of the clothes have been cotton or synthetic materials. But in theory, you can get them on eBay or any surplus stores if they've actually got them in. No, there's not any sort of ghillie suit on my bed. The only camo thing on my bed is the Swiss trousers that are there. If they're legal, no reason not to. Obviously they're not legal here, so I couldn't get one, but yeah, if they're legal in the US where you are, why not? Well, no, because in real, you know, stuff as I've said, I'd put a mask on and just get out of there. I'm not going to loiter around, so I'd rather have just a mask that gives me a little bit of protection and gets me out safely, than risking, you know, poisoning myself using a rebreather. Stalker Call of Pripyat's the best Stalker game just because it was the most finished and like polished one when it was released. There's no balls. If you're on about those, they are a stringer aid for a crossbow. I just put them there so I actually, because there was a spare hook, and I thought, well, they won't get lost if I put them there. I think in theory cold weather means that lots of sort of gases won't actually deploy as well. So I think in theory cold weather would protect you better, because when it's hot weather lots of gases actually are airborne, whereas, you know, some gases can't operate under certain temperatures. Can't tell if you're joking or not saying about the Tesco's big sale. But stuff that's already £1 isn't going to be really reduced, is it? Oh, it's not cheaper to own a tank than a car. It might be on road tax, but it's not going to be on insurance or anything like that, or petrol costs, so no, it is not cheaper than owning a car. Back a couple of years ago, you could get cars that actually didn't cost you anything on the yearly tax. But they've since scrapped that, haven't they? You have to pay like a minimum tax amount on all cars. Made that very awkward trying to drink that with holding a carbine in one hand. Polish FP5 filters fit on the CM3. I think they're already starting tensions up with Russia again. So yeah, a new Cold War could start between sort of Russia and the West, but it wouldn't be as big as the first Cold War because it's not sort of like an entire block of communist nations versus sort of the Western nations. It's Russia, which isn't communist, versus a load of countries that also aren't communist. I'm pretty sure you have to be at least 18 to legally buy a deactivated weapon. Just because obviously you need to be trusted that you're not going to do something stupid with it, like, you know, run out into the street holding it and waving it at people or something like that. I mean, in theory you could pour fluid down a drinking tube, but you can't really clean them effectively. That's why most masks are designed to be disposable. Still waiting for some questions. Alright, while I'm waiting for some questions to come through, I'll try and put this back up on the wall. Go. Yeah, I've played pretty much every game in the Fallout series. You can't eat or drink during a chemical attack unless you've got a mask with a drinking tube on it and a canteen that fits the drinking tube. Oh, that's annoying, Richard. Is there any way you can rewrite what you've tried to put so I can see it? Oh no, I've not played Fallout 76, no. I wouldn't. I can't even remember, Mike. Because more people watch them. I've already played the Metro games, and as I've said, I don't find them very good. Not bad games, I'm not really into them, so don't... The thing is, it annoys me when people keep saying, oh, you should play them. I'm like, well, I've played them, I don't really get them. Oh, no, you should play them again and you'd like them. I've done a video on the gas mask in Metro 2033. I mean, the main problem with it obviously is the filter thing, where filters expire after exactly 5 minutes, no matter how new or old the filter is, and it doesn't matter what they're exposed to. Not really. I mean, I quite enjoy Armour 2, but the more realistic a game is, kind of less fun it is. I kind of like arcade-ish sort of stuff. Well, you've just literally answered your own question there. As I've already said, I have no need for it. Section 2 is still a firearms license, just it covers shotguns. I had no idea really, to be honest, on the early Cold War gear. Most of it was fairly competent for what it was. Oh, I think, yeah, you might be right that... I think you said a hole in something and then the auto sensor thing thought you were saying arsehole, didn't it? No, I've never tried throwing a boomerang before. Yeah, I've played 7 Days to Die, but I don't really like all those Minecraft kind of clones. I can never get into them. I started playing Metal Gear Solid 5 for the first time today, and it took like an hour and a half to even get to Afghanistan, and I thought that'd be where the game started. But yeah, so I'll actually get into playing that at some point, but it was quite funny because, you know, I went into it expecting to start the game would start there, and it obviously doesn't. So after I'd finished playing through all the other stuff, then I thought, oh, I can't even be bothered to play it now. I've already counted the point of that toast butter, because every filter would not last exactly 5 minutes. It's a gameplay element. Well, I think Metal Gear Solid 5 looks like a good game. The other problem I'm having with it, Mike, is because I'm playing it on PC, they're expecting you to plug an Xbox controller in to play it, which you could do, but obviously I prefer aiming guns with a mouse. So the problem is it won't actually tell you what keys to press properly on the keyboard, because it always shows you what the controller shortcut is. That's my point. If there was a bit more variation in filter times, it'd be a lot more interesting, but they're always exactly 5 minutes, and I think on some of the harder difficulties they're even less. The thing I found funny was that thing at the beginning where I spent ages designing a character face, only for the game to go like, oh no, you're not going to edit your face after all. Well, my problem with Metro games aren't really the gas mask system. My problem with the Metro games is it's like a very linear story game, where you keep getting stopped to look at something and you have to, you know, walk very slowly to walk at the same speed of NPCs. So the gas mask thing's only like a realism gripe I have with it, not my main gripe to Metro is it's a very hand-holdy kind of story, cinematic game, whatever you want to call it. The thing is with like games, I don't mind games that want to go full-on story kind of game. Like Mike was streaming Soma recently, playing it on safe mode, and like Soma and safe mode is really fun if you want just a game with a really good story. You know, it's not designed to be challenging in safe mode, it's just meant to be so you play it for the story. I don't mind that, and I don't mind games that are hard, but what I don't like is these kind of story games that have really, really annoying sort of escort-y mission bits and, you know, like bits like that. I saw one comment, Richard, that said you saw a thing but no picture. That's why I hadn't really said much on it, because I didn't know if you were going to put some more on afterwards. Not the Dragunov SVD. It's meant to be a pretty good rifle, but obviously I don't have one, so I can't comment on the, you know, the MOA or anything like that. What do you mean, what character do you play as in Dark Souls? You can't change your character in Dark Souls other than edit what they look like and their starting stuff. But there's not specific names for the characters. In theory, if a gas mask filter gets too hot, it could make carbon monoxide poisoning, I think. Or at least it, you know, the charcoal inside the filter actually starts cooking like charcoal. Somebody was telling me that the other day. But I think it'd have to get very hot for that to happen. Okay, as I said to you, Mike, I'll be going to pick one of my friends up tonight, so whether or not I catch any of the stream, we'll have to see. Normally when I replay the Souls games, I try and do a different build every time. Because what I like to do is, you know, try doing it with a completely different weapon set, an upgrade set and skill set. One of the things I like doing in Dark Souls 1 was like a pure strength build with a club, because the club's like stat scaling for strength. I think the first time I played through Demon Souls I did it with a halberd build. Then I've done it before as like a royalty one with the magic. I did it again with a falchion build, I think. I'll stay on the stream a bit longer, but if it's quite slow with the comments coming through, I'll probably end it a bit earlier than expected. I quite enjoy a lot of post-apocalyptic sort of games and movies, but it depends really on the game and movie, because some of them are good, some of them are bad. No, I think motorbikes are pretty practical, as in they're a lot cheaper to run than cars and things like that, and you can get past busier traffic with them, but I wouldn't want to own them, especially the amount of people that get killed on motorbikes near where I live. You know, because drivers don't actually look in their mirrors properly and check for bikes. No, I've not tried a bow-only run. I always use a melee weapon with the bow. Generally, the ones like this are the most expensive kind of lighters. Because they've got, you know, electric stuff in. I don't buy any of those sort of fancy cigar lighters which cost hundreds of pounds. Never watched The Walking Dead and probably wouldn't. Favourite World War II rifle is the M1 carbine, which, well, technically the M2 carbine even more so, but you plug them into a USB. Same as like a phone charger. I think 3M does a lot of that gear, because 3M does general safety equipment as well as masks, but I've not really bought any of that sort of stuff other than like the gauntlets I've got and stuff like that. It's like a snobbery thing, really. Those lighters aren't much better than a lighter that costs £10 or whatever else. But, you know, it's the prestige of having a lighter made by certain companies in certain limited runs. Can't understand what you're saying if you're speaking in Russian. Yeah, I get weird messages from people all the time, but I just block them if they're too weird. And it totally depends on the pattern. I prefer regular patterns and pixel pattern. But, again, it totally depends on the colours of the camo and the actual, you know, like pattern itself, really, because you could have a pixel camo if it was enough colour, something like Marpat that works very well. I'm not sure if I've got any more lighter videos filmed that haven't gone live yet. Let me have a look on my upcoming videos. I think at the moment it's all just gas mask and like other stuff. Because I know there was a lighter video I did, but I think that went live a while ago. Just bear with me a moment, because how they've done the video thing's really awkward now on a new thing. Right, so that's the next video. What other videos are there? Nah, I've got an EDC like knives video that comes out on February the 6th. but I've not got any lighter videos for a while because I've not thought of anything, you know, new or interesting about the lighters. My wallet I've got at the moment's fine, but that's just a, you know, one like that where you can have all your cards in it and then a cash slot there. And it's got like a coin bit there. Depends what they're exposed to. There's no solid answer for how long a filter lasts, but a few hours to like 24 hours. If you like survival kit videos, you should look at some of Weapon Collector's ones, T55, because he's done some really impressive ones that are in the tiny little tins with loads and loads of stuff crammed in. Yeah, I like open owls. Got quite a few open owls actually. Should be another one on my table somewhere, if I can spot it. Typically I can't when I'm looking for it, but yeah, open owls are good. I think only if grey is being used in like an urban camo or as a small colour in woodland. For the most part I don't think grey works very well in camo. Like, it can if it's part of, you know, a small part of a bigger pattern or it's for an urban thing, but for the most part, like, you're not going to really want grey in desert or woodland unless it's a very minor colour in it. It's definitely not the worst colour to put in camo, but in general I think just greens and browns work the best in most camos, because they're the two sort of colours that, you know, blend in most places. I'll tell you what, I'll go for about 3 more minutes, so it's 45 minutes for this stream, and then I'll finish, just because, as I said, I did a stream yesterday, so I've done 2 streams, and through the early part of the stream I was getting lots of repetitive questions. Why would it be Disney? That doesn't make sense. So what, did the Disney company invent a camo pattern? I don't know what you mean by that. Right, I'll search your Disney thing though. Oh, so what is it? Just a shade of green that Disneyland uses to hide things? Well, it looks alright, but I don't see how it'd be more effective than any other similar shades of green. Like the Stricton shade of green is like the really effective one. Yeah, it's like a bland shade of green than what you're saying, which is exactly what Stricton uses. It's the idea is that it's a shade of colour that's so uninteresting to the eye doesn't really pick up on it because it's not exciting to look at, which is exactly what Stricton does. That's interesting, but I don't know if you had a previous comment come through for that, Richard. Oh, so found a guy in Poland who'll build me a £150 laminated English longbow for over £200. I'm considering getting me one. And then the other comment I saw was the one where you said they did cutting corpses, tests on cutting corpses with a katana that they mounted the blade on a really long pole. Not that I know. Maybe like the Finnish one, Vivil Strauka or whatever it's called, Random Confused Parrot, but mostly eBay. As far as I'm aware, they put like something on the metal near to where the actual lighter flame comes out, and it's like it burns a certain colour. Because there's like powders that you can throw into fire that makes the fire appear to burn different colours, you know, like what they use for fireworks. So I think in theory they do something like that. I guess it's either some sort of metal that has a chemical reaction when it burns, or it's some kind of powder that's coated on the inside of the metal. No, but on YouTube it won't let you post a comment if you go over the character limit. It's not like Twitch where you can make a comment as long as you like, but the person can only see like the first 3 lines of it. I like the East German anthem. That doesn't mean I like East Germany. Yeah, well, I'm probably going to end the stream any moment now anyway. Just because, like I said, it's 47 minutes now, so I've gone over a bit more than I was going to do. But, you know, it's just like I said today. I did a stream yesterday, so I've done 2 streams this week. I'll still be doing one on Thursday anyway, so I'll probably do at least an hour on Thursday, but... you know, like I said, to begin with on this stream, I was just getting a lot of silly comments, to be honest, which I think I've probably said to people before, you know, when I have a stream where people ask really good, interesting questions, the streams go quite quickly and they're quite enjoyable to do. But sometimes when you get people asking all the stuff that's in the FAQ over and over and over, it just sort of puts me off a bit. Yeah, you can still buy filters that fit the GP5 easily. But yeah, you shouldn't really pay much for a GP5 full stop, because you can get the GP5 with the bag and everything for like £5 to £10, because they're the world's most common gas mask. Alright, see you everybody. Thanks for watching, all the people that were being sensible and everything. See ya. Yeah, happy New Year to you as well, before I go. Right, bye.